There's no doubt that the UK is in a housing crisis. We have a chronic shortage of affordable housing, and the numbers of people suffering because of this is rising. One suggestion has been for a number of new eco-towns. In autumn 2008, Shelter went to 2 of the sites where these could be built to ask people in the area what they think.
Sounds very futuristic, but it's a good idea.
Probably a good idea, but they promise things, and then if they actually go through with it, it's probably a different matter, really.
If any public money is available for the eco-town, it should be spent more wisely on regenerating the existing community of Rosington and the Doncaster Borough.
One of the great problems now is there is no eco-town that people can visit to see this is what an eco-town is.
I know this is possibly one planned for Rosington, which is the old mining area. What proportion of social housing there will be, I don't know, but I think it needs to be a pretty large proportion.
House prices in England have more than tripled since 1997, and the number of households on waiting lists has reached over 1.7 million.
It's quite scary, actually. I mean, I feel really lucky to have my own home, but I have friends and stuff who are renting and their rent's gone up as well.
I think that houses are really hard to afford to rent and to buy, so especially if you're a first-time buyer.
I would not like to be a young person today, which is a sad thing to say, but I wouldn't.
I think it's general across the nation, to be honest. I mean, especially out where I live near Loughborough Way, and there's corner little villages around there. For me, first-time buyer buying in those small villages, it's totally outpriced the market.
I considered myself to have quite a good job, and so does my partner, and we're even struggling to kind of meet our mortgage payments every month.
We've had dramatic increases in house prices, which mean that the kind of cost of buying a home for the first time is just beyond the reach of most young people.
The cost of a house a few years ago was 2.5 times the average wage. Now it's 5 times the average wage.
The problems of overcrowding, the problems of not being able to find a home, it's one to which a lot of shame is attached, and people don't like to discuss it. People are embarrassed that they're sleeping on couches or they're sleeping many people to a room.
No, it wouldn't surprise me to know there are thousands of people waiting for a home.
No, not at all. I can imagine the waiting list is very big.
Because I'm from Wandsworth, I'm from the borough of Wandsworth in London, and the list is enormous. There's people that's been on it for like 5 years, 10, 15.
Disabled people who wait forever and ever to get a house that has a bedroom and a bathroom on the same floor, for example, when they're using a wheelchair.
Shelter believes building more homes must be a priority, but these should be the right kinds of homes, built in the right places. New neighbourhoods need enough jobs, proper transport, schools, parks and health facilities. Homes that are energy efficient are a necessity, not just for the environment, but to keep fuel bills down. People are right to be concerned about these things.
You know, the problem with putting people social housing them in just one block, and then usually the area gets deprived or gets worse and worse, because what you need is the diversity. You need to mix people up.
I think there are huge myths and stereotypes based on that idea that it's poor people who live in council housing or housing association housing, and therefore it's not so much there isn't a need for it, it is, would I want them living next door to me?
Affordable housing, social housing, council housing actually provides a lot of community cohesion.
You have to recognise that there are potentially difficulties, some of which can be solved by proper planning, talking to people in advance about what they want from their house and what they want within their community. People need schools, they need local shops, they need medical facilities. There are examples from the past where that's not been done, and unfortunately people have been left, like living in the middle of a building site for 5 years. This is not acceptable.
With any eco-town, when you're talking about 5,000 houses and above, you obviously need to make sure that there's employment for people to be able to go to and work within the eco-town, so they're not travelling out, and therefore offsetting what you're trying to achieve in in reducing the carbon footprint, etc. Eco-town designed properly will be a big benefit, both for the environment within the area, to show others how eco-towns can develop, how we can improve everybody's living standards.
There are opportunities to talk about the issues, and people need to know how to feed into that process and make their views known. In 10 years' time, where are your kids going to be living? Will they be able to afford to live in the kind of housing that you currently occupy?
The eco-town has got to be something that the local population want. So it's very important that they talk to the average citizen and get them on board so they can make their own minds up.
The housing crisis affects all of us. There are lots of different views about how new homes are built for future generations. What do you think?